Good morning.
Good morning.
Appreciate you guys being here. I'll go ahead and talk about last week real quick. I hate doing that, but I know you have questions. So, rarely in a game can you put your finger on, a handful of plays that really made the difference in the game. But I think last week it was really easy to see where the breakdowns occurred because we played as hard as I've seen a team play in a long time, at least this team for sure. But we had about 5 or 6 breakdown plays that really cost us in that game. You know, the 4 throws, and then obviously the blocked PAT attempt, and then a couple plays on offense where maybe we would have had a chance to get the ball in the end zone instead of kicking field goals. But, I know I say this every week, but I do see a team that's getting better. We haven't put it together yet. You know, we haven't been able to play a complementary football game where all 3 phases play at a high level at the same time. And last week when the offense got it rolling, we had those 4 defensive breakdowns that, are not really something that we've seen in the last 19 games that I've been here, or 18, but we saw them on Saturday, so there's no excuse for them because they happen. So we've got to get those fixed, and we've worked towards that. And some of that is scheme, some of it's communication, some of it's execution, some of it's technique, some of it's skill set. So, the goal is always to get better every week, and then the ultimate goal is to win. And so that's our objective this week. We go to Rice. They're a good team. They throw the ball all over the field. JT Daniels, who's their quarterback, actually met him when he was an 8th grader, came to a camp at UCLA, looked like he was a 12th grader, threw the ball like he was a college guy, extremely talented passer. I would say that he's the most talented high school quarterback I'd ever seen. He's transferred around. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of, action in big games, and they're doing a really good job with him. Marcus Tuiasosopo, who's their offensive coordinator, I've worked with at UCLA twice. Actually, I've known him his whole life. His dad, Manu Tuiasosopo, played for my dad with the Seahawks and at UCLA. And then when Tui was born, my mom was a realtor driving Manu and his wife around while Tui was in a car seat in the back of her car, and now he's the OC at Rice. So, this game just kind of, it's so intertwined. But we're anxious to go down there and play again. I think that after looking at the film, the players realize how close they are. And now it's just closing that gap to nothing, so there's no gap. And that's our objective. They had, once again, you're always kind of gauging where your team is emotionally by the way they come back from a loss. Hopefully we'll find a way to see how we respond to a win here first. But when you come back from a loss, just where are they emotionally? Where's their commitment level? What's their concentration level? And all those things are still on point. And so, in the midst of a start that's not what we wanted, I still see guys that believe in what we're doing, believe in each other, believe in themselves, continuing to work hard. And if you don't have that, you got no chance. And so we've got that, so that gives us a chance. So another great challenge this week. And, from what I saw today, we'll go out there and we'll play hard again, and hopefully we can put it together in all 3 phases and come out victorious.
What did you see in Taekwondo that he did better in the last game? Why all of a sudden some production? Okay,
well, this is an interesting statistic, and it was kind of mind-boggling to me, actually. It's been since 2017, so 6.5 seasons, since a UConn quarterback has completed over 70% of his passes and thrown for over 250 yards, and he did that on Saturday. So that's like, someone told me that, I was like, so that happens all the time. They said it hadn't happened here since 2017, which was like, what? So that's a positive, He did a great job of recovering from the interception, He played right through it. He didn't let him get it down. He didn't let that play get him down. he made plays when he had to make plays down the stretch, which is what good players do. And I think we've said this for the last couple of weeks. He hasn't played a lot, and as he continues to play more and more and get more reps, which are so important for any player, but especially a quarterback, you're going to see his skills start to shine because he can throw the ball. He's got a really good arm. Now he's seeing things better. The game's moving slower for him. And when he had to make a play, he made a play, and that was with his legs and his arm. And then his decision-making was good. So very, very excited about the direction that he's going in.
And his comfort level at this level now, because you said previously it's been multiple years since he played.
Yeah.
Is that allowing Nick to really call the offense the way he wants to call it? It seems like it looks more like we saw it during camp.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's completely accurate. As a play caller, you have to play calls that your players feel comfortable executing. And as Taekwon gets more and more experience in this offense, Nick can do more and more things with him. And he can go back into, like you said, the things we were doing in training camp, where you're experimenting, you're learning. And now, he's got that knowledge base from training camp, and now he's got the confidence to apply it going forward.
Victor and Cam ran the ball quite well against Utah State. What did you like about the way they worked together, the way they complement each other?
They both run very hard, and they're not easy tackles. They both fall forward, rather than getting picked up and thrown back. They both have good hands, which, you want to see because we try to throw the ball to the backs out of the backfield. And they both did a really good job in pass protection. But with regard to just running, I like that they run hard, and they're not easy to tackle, and they fall forward.
Talk about Rice's passing offense, obviously. When you prepare for that, is there a lot of adjustments from your defense from the last few weeks, or is it kind of?
Well, there has to be some. I think good defense always starts with being able to stop the run, and they're going to come out and try to establish the run. That's what good teams do. That's what offenses try to do. If we can do a good job against the run early and force it into a one-dimensional game, then the game kind of looks and feels a little bit differently in terms of what you're playing on defense. So you always have to make some adjustments in terms of what your emphasis is, offensively and defensively, depending upon who you're playing. So, this is a team that in the last couple games has not run the ball as many times and has relied on their passing game, and it's been pretty darn effective for him. I mean, this guy, he's thrown 13 touchdowns. He's only sacked 10 times. He gets the ball out of his hand quickly. He can make every throw. He can make, off-platform throws. He can, make different arm slot throws. He can throw moving to his left, to his right. He's not a scrambler, but he's a guy that can find the throwing lanes. And then I think he's got really good receivers. You think that, you look at Luke McCaffrey, Ed's son, and Christian's brother, he's a very good football player. Connor, their running back, number 0, they use him in the pass game. He's a very good player. As a matter of fact, I told the players, I said, he reminds me, I played against Christian McCaffrey, or coached against him several times when he was at Stanford, and he reminds me of a Christian McCaffrey type of guy. He's a hard runner, he's got great hands, he's versatile. So, you have to make adjustments, and you have to count for people.
Is this the worst time to be facing the best passing offense you've gone up against because of the defensive mistakes, or are those so fresh and correctable that maybe this is a good time because you can get your guys?
They're correctable. The problem right now in the secondary is also personnel. We have guys that are out. Malik got a concussion, so he wasn't able to play. Armani Archer, he didn't play. Hopefully those guys come back. I don't know. But, playing without 2 of your starting defensive backs, that has an impact. The guys are starters for a reason. It's usually because they're the most productive players. So I think we like challenges, we do. We like challenges. And DBs, they want the ball in the air. That's how they make their money, man. And I use that, rhetorically, or whatever the word is. But, no, I think it's a great opportunity for us. We've played good pass defense around here, but we've had some breakdowns in the last couple games, and if we can correct those, and we'll get back to playing good pass defense, and hopefully we've corrected them schematically, and hopefully we coached our guys through them and they understand them, and we'll put them through the paces on the practice field to make sure that they're really, they really are emphasized.
Move a guy that can really help you in the passing game.
Yeah.
Be a guy that can cover one-on-one, almost had a pick on Saturday.
He's gotten better every week. I think as his understanding of what we want him to do defensively has improved. He really studies the game hard. It's important to him. He's tough. He's physical. He's got quickness and speed. And he makes plays on the ball. He's probably made the most plays on the ball of anyone back there. So, yeah, it's nice to have him available and playing with the confidence he's playing with. He's making good decisions, and I'm glad he's on our team. He's a good kid, and he hadn't played a lot, right? He's a young guy, but he's learning fast.
Creating turnovers, you said your first 2 interceptions this season. Are those more mistakes by them, or obviously they're great plays? Jackson was diving in.
Jackson's play was a great play. Chris's was, tip ball, and that was an effort play. So I'd say that was a hell of a play. I don't think there were really mistakes by them. Maybe the second one, but we have to be opportunistic, right? I think we have to help our offense by creating field position with takeaways. So it's a constant point of emphasis. I think turnovers come in bunches, and you start to feel momentum that way. So hopefully we're feeling a little momentum.
Jim, back here. In your entire career, have you ever been in a situation where the line is so fine that every single week the game comes down to 4 or 5 plays?
Yes, for 28 years in the National Football League, every single game basically was that. If you watch the NFL games, they come down to the last drive, they come down to the last couple plays, they go to overtime. And I'd never been in an overtime game, I don't believe, but yeah. So I spent 28 years in the NFL where every game was like that.
You coached your first college game at Rice. Any memories?
Yeah, Brett Hundley, very first play of the game, taking it 76, I believe 76 yards. You have to check me on that for a touchdown, and that was pretty fun to see that. Yeah, and we won.
It was going to be all easy, right?
No, I've never, no, I know you're being facetious, but no, there's nothing easy about this game. It's a competitive game, there are no easy games. You watch the games on Saturdays, and, you watch SC in Colorado, and SC, you look up at the scoreboard and they're up whatever they were up, a bunch. And then the next thing you know, it's 48-40 or whatever. So, competitors on both sides of the ball, football games, it's hard to win a football game, man. It's hard to win a football game.
What about special teams? Joe had a good day.
Yeah.
Obviously, except for the end.
And that wasn't on him. Yeah, that wasn't on Joe. He made 2 field goals, and he hit every kickoff into the end zone. You can't ask for any more from a young man than Joe gave us. Seen a different spirit in him since that happened. I think that after the knee injury and the year and just the struggle to get back and how hard he worked and then missing a couple early, we talked about this last week. I think he was a little bit in the tank. And he needed a game like that to get his momentum back. You guys saw him kick when he was a freshman. I didn't. But he's a really good kicker, And so, today, man, he was booming him. He looked like, and Joe actually had a little smile on his face, which is, he was a pretty serious guy. So that was really good to see. And you know what? No way. Now he's going to push him and push him and push him and push him and push him. And, we'll go out there, and if Joe makes a kick, man, Noe tries to drop one right on top of it right after him. So it's good to see that.
What about coverage? Is there any way to improve some of that?
It did, actually. It improved last week, punt coverage, because that's been a real concern, Chris Hudson gave us a spark there. The speed that he has, getting down the field. He made a couple tackles, and he made the guy miss. Still not where we want it. That first punt return was not very good. We got blocked up inside. They doubled some guys. So it's just about trying to come up with different formations to shake guys loose while still being sound in our punt protection and not getting one blocked. But trying to get more speed on the field is something that's important, because those are big yards. Like, those are hidden yards that have a profound impact on the game. And then the other thing I'd like to see is our kickoff return game needs to be better. We're not doing a good enough job there of getting yards up the field and putting our offense in better field position.
Injury-wise, do you expect Malik to be back, or is that kind of
I think it's very questionable. Hopefully he is. Number one, there's concussion protocols that are followed, but number two, So it's my personal philosophy, and I know the philosophy of this university, and certainly our doctors and our athletic trainers, that you don't mess with head, neck, and spine injuries. You just don't mess with them. You always err on the side of caution. So if he's cleared to play by our medical staff, then he can play. But they will make that determination, and they will make it with great care and concern for him.
And the tight end room, it seems like Nick Harris is kind of moving up the depth chart a little bit, and then
Yeah.
just off this.
Well, he when Alex went out, he started to play a more prominent role, and he's actually been really kind of the tight end, that wide tight end since that second game of the year. But he's just becoming more and more confident doing it. Remember, he was a receiver in high school, went to defensive end, and then we moved him to tight end, and he's doing a good job. And so it's great to see him get in the end zone. It's really good to see him sustaining blocks and moving people out on the line of scrimmage. He's an athletic guy, and I think he's found his niche finally. I was worried about him defensive line. At times he seemed like, I didn't know that he loved it. I see like that love for the game coming back with him at that position, and that's what you want, because he'll be productive that way.
Is Alex done for the year?
Yes, I thought I told you guys that. I thought I told you after that Georgia State game. Maybe I didn't. He had to have season-ending surgery the Tuesday, a week after that game, and he had some significant damage in there, but it was really successful surgery. Yeah, I thought I told you guys that. I'm sorry.
A week ago, you said you saw a team that's ascending.
Huh?
What can you point to specifically? Because we saw it on the field, obviously, on Saturday. What can you point to, and then can you see that same thing this week coming off of the loss on Saturday?
I think, it sounds cliche, but attitude and effort and better execution, spoiled by really, 5 very visible plays. So you can't take those plays away, right? You can't. And so it's really hard to say, well, we're getting better when something like that happens. But if you just look at the game objectively and you say, okay, play to play to play to play. Are we playing with great effort? Are we playing with great energy? Are we executing better, more consistently? Do we understand what to do? Then the answer is yes. But it's so hidden and tarnished by the obvious plays that everybody sees, and it's the first time I've gotten a call from my dad this week with actually, usually it's just hang in there and keep it up, and this week I got a text right after the game. He goes, it says, hey, I have some thoughts on the game if you want to talk about it. The reason you lost wasn't the blocked field goal, and I didn't want to talk to him right after the game about that. But I did Monday, and he saw it exactly the way it should be seen. It's good to have someone like that can, help you through those times. He's coached a lot of games, so.
To sort of follow up on that, you had never been 0-2.
What's that?
To follow up on that, you had never been 0-2 before
Yeah.
the season. How are you holding up personally? How do you get through your week?
I just focus on the task at hand, minute by minute, day by day, really, honestly. The next one's coming at you, right? So you got to learn from the past one. You got to apply those lessons, and you got to put it behind you. You got to focus on the next one. And when you're the head coach and the leader of the team and the program, people take their cues from you. And if you're going to walk around with a hangdog look on your face and woe is me, then everyone else is, And quite frankly, this isn't about me at all. My job is to help these young men prepare for the next game, prepare for, adversity they're going to face in life, learn lessons. It's always about teaching, So I'm fine, I got a great wife that I get to go home to every night, who's very encouraging and upbeat, and she keeps me on point. She asks a lot of good questions too. So I just keep the focus on what's really important here, and that's our players and staff. That's our players and staff.
Obviously, it was devastating the way it ended, but how important was that game for the offense? Have you seen kind of a change in their mentality coming into this week?
Joe, I hope you're right, man. I feel that, but we'll see, right? I feel it. I believe it. I want them to go out and show it. I watched them practice today, and there was just a different kind of confidence. A game like that will get you confident. You know, you go down there and you score with, 35 or 40 seconds left to, hopefully tie the game. And it's a hard drive. And they'd had to do it earlier. I mean, they had to keep bailing the defense out. I mean, that builds confidence, especially when you struggle a little bit. You know, you kind of find your rhythm, you find your identity. You know, like you said, Nick gets to now call some things that we've worked on in the past that the players feel comfortable with. And so, let's just keep going with it, right? You got a great balance between running the ball and throwing the ball. You know, your quarterback's making plays with his arm, with his feet. Receivers are, consistent catching the ball. That's how it's supposed to look. So we got to make sure it looks like that and keeps getting better.
What did your dad tell you was the reason you lost? Was it the 4 big plays?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Jimmy. You know it wasn't that block extra point. I said, I know, Dad. I know what it was. I tried to preempt him, I said, I know it was the 4 big plays. Well, what the hell's going on back there? So I had to explain each one to him. And, jeez, that can't happen. I go, Dad, I know, He's been really good this year. That was the first time, and he wasn't negative. That was the first time when he's really kind of, I felt it. I need that. He's always done that to me. He's always been, really good at constructive criticism, and he's always been very supportive. He's obviously been very successful. He's won 185 games in his coaching career. He's been 3-time coach of the year. He's done a lot of things. He's played a lot of games, seen a lot of good, a lot of bad, been through some tough times. So anytime you have a guy like that in your life that can give you advice, it's great. I'll tell you the other thing that's fun is, I haven't told the players this, but first text I got after the game, very first text I got when I walked into the locker room was from Charles Barkley. I know Charles a little, not a lot. 3 or 4 times a season he texts and says, tells me what he sees. And this is a guy that's a great competitor, and he's a great athletic mind, right? He knows sports, he knows players. And he said, your team is really fighting and playing hard. Keep it going and it'll turn. And so when you hear from someone that has credibility like that, it kind of reinforces how you feel internally.
You've had a couple of departures. Have you seen the team coming closer together, especially as you're going through adversity on the field as well?
Yeah.
And how big a game is Saturday in terms of which way the rest of the year is going to go? Do you look at it like that? Or?
To answer your first question, yeah, I've seen us come together. Everyone's in. Everyone made a commitment. Everyone reinforced that commitment. And, the guys that left, they had their reasons for leaving, and they're gone. And, they don't necessarily matter to us as a team. They matter as individuals, but they don't matter as a team anymore, to the team anymore. But, yeah, we've closed ranks. That's what you have to do. And number 2, I don't really subscribe to the next game's the most important. It's the most important because it's the next game. And then the next game after that will be the most important. So, we just want to go out and just play as well as we can and just find a way to get a win, But there are more games to play after that. So regardless of what happens, you have to be able to get refocused. That's what a season's all about. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.